YouTube Electric Adventures here with the next episode of my series called A to Z of My MSX Collection, where I'm working my way through the games that I actually have in my physical MSX collection and picking a game from each letter of the alphabet. It's not necessarily the most popular game that was ever out there for the MSX, each one of these. These are my personal, either my personal favourite games or the ones that hold a particular level of nostalgia for me. The video has been very well received so far, so I thank everybody for that. I am definitely enjoying doing these, revisiting my MSX collection, because the MSX collection is one of the main things that I like to collect. But now we come up to the letter E, and there are actually, obviously being a common letter, lots and lots of games to choose from for this one. And there's some quite good ones too. So ones like Elevator Action. I've got a complete copy of it, and the version on the MSX is not too bad. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is an MSX1 cartridge, because it doesn't say MSX2 on it, and it actually doesn't do a too bad job. It actually holds up against the Famicom. The sound is not all that interesting, everything like that, and I do enjoy playing it. But there's, the game that I eventually selected just holds that little bit more, nostalgia for me. Because if I was going, games that I've picked up more recently, I would probably pick something like Exerion Mystery, which is a great 100 level single screen. Sorry, hold that up a bit closer so you can have a look. Puzzle type game, and it's great fun. So it was almost this one, but I decided to go back to a game that I played back in the day. I never actually owned a copy myself, but I did play it in the store I worked in for quite some time, and that game is Exerion, and the version of Exerion on the MSX is actually done very well considering the limits of the hardware, and it plays very well. And as you'll see from the gameplay coming up, it's a good fun game with lots of enemy variety. I'm also lucky, and I'm putting this one here because I pretty much know this is not going to get shown when I get up to Z, and it's actually the sequel, and it's called Zorny Exerion 2. Now I could have cheated and just say, well, this is Exerion 2, but it is actually called Zorny, so I couldn't put it in there. I was actually very lucky to come across this cartridge. You don't see that come up very often. It's one of the ones I paid a little bit more for, because I've never even seen a box for that one, let alone, and that was the first loose copy that came up. And it really is a great game. It takes the Exerion game and takes it to the next level, just gives it a bit more variety, challenge stages and things like that. Because from back in memory, I can't remember ever getting to any challenge stages like that in the original Exerion. And I've done the gameplay before I recorded this bit, I actually, I do quite well. I get a reasonable score on it, but you don't get any challenge stages, whereas in Zorny 2 you do get challenge stages and things like that, just to add a bit more variety to it. But it's a great game. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at my selection for E, which is Exerion. Right, so here we go with a gameplay of Exerion. So this is the original game, and this is the one that I played back in the day. I have been lucky to come across a version of the sequel, Exerion 2 Zorny, but I still think that this original version does quite well. So you have two modes of fire. This is the double fire, which is a bit slower. Oops. And then every one you hit builds up your charge meter. You can use your built up charge to do a rapid fire burst. You've got to be so careful because they come at you at quite an angle. And it's got this, really nice, colourful levels. and the flying effect, which I always thought was very impressive on the you know, on the basic MSX. Oh god, almost died then. You gotta be so careful because they can shoot it. That's sort of where the rapid fire is useful when they're bunched up so much. You do get a bit of a graphical glitch when you change levels. But it's got, you know, quite a lot of enemy variety with different attack patterns. And here we go, and now they're going across. If you let them get across the screen, actually come across the other side. There's my first life gone. I've got a charge over 108, so I probably should be using it. Oh dear. And because your ship's got momentum, that's also another thing you have to be wary of. Oh. Big cascading crash on this level. It's obviously got me. Survive that first part of the wave. Just. Oh, and I missed. That's the only trouble. The backgrounds are quite colourful, so you can lose yourself in them. So it really is a great little shoot 'em up. And the second one, which I'm also lucky enough to have, just a loose cartridge, is an even better game. That's actually the furthest I've gotten that first one for a while. I do not actually know whether it has any sort of challenge stage or bonus stage. Xernie 2 does, definitely does, but I have probably played that one more than the other one. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed this instalment of my A to Z of my MSX collection. I'll have Game F out very soon, and I'll catch you all then. Thanks to all my subscribers, and I'll see you later.